The Business Journal Roundtable Series is sponsored by iSynergy, creative digital advertising.
What's an example of a well-engineered query?
I've seen some. I've not done it this way. I still have some work to do in my query engineering, but I feel like I'm understanding how it works. But I've seen where you will ask it to ask you questions about your business or what you're trying to write about, so that way it can give you the best information. So you'd say, hey, ask me 10 questions about my business in order to write XYZ. And then it'll give you prompts and you respond to those, and then it will spit out what you need that is more customized to you. Instead of just generally saying, what is XYZ, you're saying, in order to write about XYZ in my business, what are 10 questions or 20 questions you would need to know from me? And then it's getting more information from you to make that more customized, which I have tried that and it is helpful. So that's a place I would start.
The greatest queries are iterations. You don't just do one. Right. You do one, then you take what it brings to you, and you take that and you iterate and you make it better, and you expand on that. And then some of your best outputs that you're going to get from like GPT you're going to have a series of 20 queries till you get to the exact one that you want. It's not a one time and you get it in. You can get started, like we all talked about, like jump starting your copy with that single prompt, but to get to like almost to a finalized place where you're only going to have an hour or 2 hours for a copywriter, to put their touches on it, it's going to be anywhere from 10 to 20 different iterations till you get there. Yeah.
So are copywriters going out of business?
No, I think they're needed more now than ever.
Yeah.
I think it's just maybe their jobs will change a bit. We still are going to need people to kind of sift through this content that is generated by AI, and where they may have been writing it from scratch, now they're kind of learning to edit, the AI content and use it as a tool rather than, something that's going to take their job.
And fact check.
Are there any courses? Are the schools teaching this yet, or is it so
There's
new that
courses now, like Jeff said, with like engineering, query engineering, prompt engineering, of how to best utilize the data set that GPT is connected to.
Anybody want to add anything more?
The only other place we use it is programmatic with our A/B testing. We used to have to do like manual testing, like A/B testing, if we're going to test a headline or copy or creative. Now we have platforms, AI platforms, where you can put that in and it can generate 100 different creatives, 100 different headlines for you. And if the budget allows for it, you can have a winner and you can have a best case of a headline, copy, CTA, and creative all within about a week.
So maybe it's fair to say, copywriters aren't going to go out of business, but I do think it's going to diminish the audience, but those who remain, they're vital. So I don't know, because we're talking about all that efficiency. So efficiencies usually do create less demand for something, right? Because you're more efficient. So yeah, do I think some copywriters aren't going to have jobs? Do I think some publications like your own are going to rely on it? Maybe need, I'm making it. No one here is going to lose a job, I'm sure, but maybe they have 5 writers, now they need 4 or 3, right? So do I think it'll have impact? Yes. But do I think copywriting as a profession is going away? No.
And you have it is like any other new profession or industry, it also creates jobs, like you were talking about query engineering. God knows it'll probably be a course soon at college, and somebody will be teaching that. So it will also create, and at least Google I saw and Microsoft, leaders in AI, they're going, yeah, there's ethical problems. You guys figure that out. So it's gonna create, another, unfortunately, government agency probably to settle a lot of these questions. Is that an original image? Is it stolen? Is it, and same thing with content. So they're basically the big people who are developing, the bigger companies who are developing AI, they're basically saying, well, we're just making it. You guys figure out, how to rule it or how to settle any arguments over it. But it's naturally going to create some jobs on the other side to help people use it. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think it was Italy is already outlawed. GPT isn't allowed using any data from Italy. Yeah, they already said no data from any of our citizens, companies, geography, nothing. They're not allowed. They were the first one to.
So somebody will create a company to go detect that, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure.
I think there's also a move too, like in the more of the visual arts, like the fashion industry and stuff. I know that in France they were doing, if a photo is airbrushed now, they have to say that it was airbrushed or it was manipulated somehow digitally.
Really?
So yeah, so I'm sure that they'll be saying that now with AI, right? You have to have a disclaimer if they don't fully outlaw it. But to your point, George, absolutely. I mean, when mainframe computers came into being, like the 50s or the 60s, right, where they came into use in industry and business, and people went crazy. But it really created some of the highest paying jobs out there because those are the people that know how to program or that they know how to do that. So I think you're right. There's a whole new industry that will pop up from it.
The Business Journal Roundtable Series is sponsored by iSynergy, creative digital advertising.